and he comforted me like a father. He comforted me like an uncle. He comforted me like a big brother, and for that I will always be grateful to the personage of our brother, the student minister here, Brother Dr. Abdul Halim Muhammad. Let us receive him to the rostrum to continue the work of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, the student regional minister of the South Best region, our brother student Dr. Abdul Halim Muhammad, with a round of applause.
In the name of Allah, the beneficent, the merciful, I bear witness there is no God but Allah. I bear witness that Muhammad is his messenger. I am a student of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. I can never thank Allah enough for his intervention in our affairs in the person of Master Fard Muhammad, the great Mahdi, who traveled 9,000 miles to seek and to save that which was lost. We can find no other people more fitting the description of the lost sheep, the lost coin, the prodigal son, the children of Israel than the black man and the black woman of North America. We thank Allah for demonstrating his love, for fulfilling his promise that he made through the prophets, that one day he would come. And he did come, and he visited us here in North America. We thank him for that unequaled love of taking upon himself, as one of the beautiful Muslims said two study groups ago, Friday study group, said that Master Fard Muhammad subordinated his real self, meaning he's a black man. His father was black, his mother was white. But he came looking white, though his nature was that of a black man. And he subordinated that out of his love for us, took on sinful flesh to condemn sin in the flesh, the kind of love he had to subordinate who he really was, to get through to us, because the enemy was searching for any black man coming here to disturb his negras. So he came as a thief in the night, meaning he came without observation. He couldn't be observed. He had been in and out of the country for 20 years, studying the educational system of America and preparing himself to find that one that would lead, teach, and guide us. That one he found in the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. He became his student. He then became his minister. He then became the supreme minister. He then became messenger. He then became Messiah, and now he is the exalted Christ. It is he who is making rain, hail, snow, and earthquakes today, if you but understood. We thank Allah for the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad being raised from among us, that first begotten of the dead. But it didn't stop there. You want an example of what resurrection looks like? You cannot equal the kind of disciples that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad has produced. You talk about Malcolm, but you can't find any other black organization that could produce for you a Malcolm X. Can't find another place you can find a Muhammad Ali. You can't find another place you can that produce an Imam Warithuddin Muhammad. Can't find it. And the other luminaries that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad produced. Did you know that Joe Tex was a Muslim and a minister in the Nation of Islam? Did you ever hear of Yahweh ben Yahweh? He was Ulinex. Y'all ain't hearing me. Make it plain. I remember I went to Lewisburg to the federal prison, and in the back of the room was Yahweh ben Yahweh. And I told the brothers in there, please look after him while he's in here. Even at that time, brother, I didn't know that he was once a minister of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. But there was just something about him and the way that he respected and united with the Honorable Louis Farrakhan when he went to Miami during one of his tours that said to me, look after our brother. But I can tell you something, brothers and sisters. There's a man that is among us that has no equal. He'll never say he was greater than Nat Turner. He'll never say himself that he was greater than Marcus Garvey. He'll never say himself that he was greater than Malcolm X or Martin Luther King Jr., or any of the great ones that have come before. He will never say that himself because he's a very humble man. But the truth of the matter is he is greater than all of them. And why? Because he's on time. You see, all of those were precursors, signs of the man that's in our midst today. A man that the Jews knew was going to come. They had been looking for the Messiah all along. The Jews looked for the Messiah, but they knew the work of the Messiah was twofold. One, he came to confirm those who were obedient, those who did follow the laws of Moses, and came to lead them to the promised land and to the great hereafter that they were promised. But then there's another set of those that were disobedient. You can find the discussion in Deuteronomy 28, where God tells the children of Israel what the blessings and the cursings of not obeying God's law are. There's a group of them that are so wicked, but they say that they're Jews, but they're not. They're the synagogue of Satan. And they knew that one was coming that would condemn them. So they've always been looking for that one that would come, the Messiah. They've always been looking for the Messiah. In fact, they weren't supposed to go back to the so-called Holy Land unless they were led there by the Messiah. But they went anyway. America is not the Messiah. The United Nations is not the Messiah. England is not the Messiah. The Messiah is the Messiah. Well, there's a man that has been among us now. He's been in this mission for over 62 years. He came in as Louis X. He became a minister. First, he was a lieutenant. He worked as a secretary. He worked as a captain in Boston, then became a minister, and he was Minister Louis X. And then after the death and the assassination of Malcolm X, defection and death of Malcolm X, came to New York, and later on he was made the national representative of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and given his name, not directly, he read his own name in the paper, Farrakhan. Stood before the world, became one of the most well-known Muslims in the world as a representative of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And then the Nation of Islam fell. That's right. And all were tried under those circumstances. But this man's love couldn't be bound. This man's love transcended circumstances and conditions. This man's love comes from a well, a spring of such adoration for his teacher that he couldn't see his teacher's name written out of history. That's right. Come on. So he stood up and began rebuilding the work of his father, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Some say he had 10,000 followers. He didn't have nobody but him and Jabril and his wife and brother Wahed. That's right. They started the Nation of Islam in the basement of his house. Typeset the first and printed the first final call in the basement of his house. There was no FOI. It was the black policemen that escorted him. That's right. It was the nationalists who looked after him. Those people that believe in Malcolm that looked after Farrakhan. There was no FOI. There was no MGT. And he went about the business of reestablishing the work of his father, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. We can't thank Allah enough for such a man. I'm starting like this because I really want you to know, brothers and sisters, that, I don't feel well today. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad once didn't go to the temple, and Master Fard Muhammad asked, he said, well, how did it go today at the temple? At the temple meeting, he said, well, I didn't go. I didn't feel good. He looked at him sternly. He said, die on your post. So in first time in 32 years, he said, brother, I'm not feeling very well today, but I'll die on my post. Because a man has already given his life for me in the person of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. You and I, he's given up everything so to reestablish this. So let's stand up and do what we're supposed to do. And I got to do what I got to do. It's not about me. I'm only bringing that to your attention as to why I'm not as fiery as my fellow brother from Austin. A young firebrand. Let me greet you in the great words of peace. Assalamu alaikum. I want to thank brother, student, minister, attorney, Dr. Warren Muhammad from Acreage Home, who has decided to raise the banner of Islam in Acres Home. So we on the, what you call the north side. Thank him for his work, and we will continue to support and pray for his efforts out there. That's one. I want to thank brother student minister Robert Muhammad of Austin, Texas, over the hill country. If you really know his great work that he's done in obedience to the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan in the spirit of the 10,000 Fearless, which is to get in between the gangs and the guns, he has jurisdiction over all of what you call the hill country, which includes San Antonio, Killeen, and all that area in there, Austin and that area there. And in Killeen, Texas, they had a murder rate because that's the home of Fort Hood. And, you know, it's a transient area, believe it or not, because soldiers come from all across the country, New York, Chicago, you know what I'm saying, LA, they all from over there. But that place has almost become like a killing field. And going in there, setting up a conflict resolution hotline, going in and teaching the teachings of Honorable Elijah Muhammad and sinking a root down in the dark first, then coming up to light. He has been able to, with the help of the believers and the help of Almighty God Allah and his Christ and the guidance of our minister, been able to drop the murder rate down to record levels there, and we own it because we give the praise to Allah. Sometimes, brothers and sisters, some of you get a little touchy if I remind you of where I met you or where you met me. I don't mean it to put you in something like in your place. That's not what I'm doing. For me, it's a self-affirmation. You see, brothers and sisters, people see me sometimes coming down Old Spanish Trail, and the believers sometimes be riding next to me, and they'll see me talking to myself in the car. But I'm not talking to myself, I'm talking to God. I'm saying, why the hell am I going through this? What is this all about? There's a setback, there's this, that, and the other. I don't have nobody to talk to, so I talk to God. They'll pull up next to me and look at me talking to myself, and they'll be pointing and laughing, saying, Brother Robert or Brother Halima lost his mind. No, I haven't lost my mind. I'm trying to get my mind. But what happens is, brother and sister, is that I will see you or see someone who will remind me of why we do what we do. That's right. Come on. I didn't tell him what to say, but he reminded me of something of good that we did. See, you and I don't remember the good that we do. It's always the evil that we remember. Because our nature is to be righteous. So when we're doing good, we're doing everything that we were born to do. But when we do wrong, it goes against our nature. It's against the grain, because the Honorable Elijah teaches us that we were born to think right. And to the extent we're not thinking right or acting right, it's to the extent that we always, is like they say, peeping around corners, looking over our shoulders. Because mind playing tricks on us. All the time. Y'all all right? That's the only rap I know, brother. So, but he reminded me of that. And I do remember him at that time. Before he was married to that beautiful sister Fudia, before he produced those beautiful children, following the guidance of how to give birth to a God. And giving birth to children who literally have finished high school and were in college before they were out of their teens. And I'm not talking about 19 just getting in college. I'm talking about 15, 16 years old in college, taking college courses and going through college, and they just brilliant children following how to give birth to a God. But I met him. He didn't tell you the circumstance of why they were in Houston. Sometimes we just don't tell, but they had just graduated high school. They were all high school friends. And they came down to the big city to see what it was about. Not that they were partying, drinking, smoking, anything like, I don't know. I wasn't in the car with them. But they came to see what they wanted to see, and they drove by clubs where black people were, and someone saw them and misidentified them as someone who had perpetrated a murder that took place on Coffee Street. And this person in this aberrated state of mind, being high on fry, hunted them down and shot up their car, killing one, wounding another, and psychologically and spiritually and mentally wounding the others who weren't physically hurt. See? So when I think about that and what God used us to do when we went to Austin, they weren't the only ones hurt. Their whole classmates and the whole community was hurt. And we had to bring healing to a whole community. And I look at him now, and in those times when I think about why the hell am I going through this? Come on. When you seem unappreciated for your own sacrifice in trying to help the man of God. And then you see someone like him and his wife and the believers from whence we were, Sister Betty, nomads in the wilderness, not having a place to meet in the 80s, and Sister Helen, and going from place to place, not knowing on Sunday where we were going to meet, whether it was going to be in the Tiger Room, or we were going over to Anita Street, or we were going to meet over in Fifth Ward or Tidwell. We didn't know where the hell we was going to meet on some Sundays, man. We didn't have pages, and we had pages. We didn't have text messages and all the social media. Hell, we had to call each other on. We had landlines. We had to call each other on the phone. And I think about those times when I'm down and out, and I look and I see that if I didn't make it, my eyes didn't open tomorrow, I know that we have done some good. Come on. We've done some good. Come on. You know, you can't go to a black funeral without hearing my eyes on the sparrow. Come on now. Or I'm going up to yonder. Come on. Huh? Or if I can help somebody. Huh? Yes, somebody always hit, one of them licks is going to be hit. Yes, so you think about it, brothers and sisters, if I done some good along the way, then my life is worth living. Yes, sir. Come on. And as we say in our prayer, when we take an oath to Allah, that surely my prayer, my sacrifice, my life, and my death are all for Allah. When we take that attitude and we see the fruit of our labor, then how can we be ungrateful to Allah? No matter what we're going through, no matter how we feel, when we see manifest in front of us the beauty of what we have done. On last 2 Fridays ago, one of the children she said of herself, I was born in the mosque. And sometimes we look at our children and we think that they're wayward, and they are, but they're not going far. That's right. Come on. But last week, my little sister said something that was so profound, it blew my mind. My mouth dropped open. I said, oh my God. We think we know what we've given birth to. Come on. We judge them by our standards and not by the mind of God. Right. We can't even see that coming out of their mouths is wisdom. And the scripture saying a child shall lead them. So I looked. I had to have her sit to my right because that's my good ear. I looked. My mouth dropped open because I couldn't grasp at that moment, the great wisdom that she was articulating out of her mouth. Is one of our children born in the mosque. Man, I married their parents. This isn't about me. Hear me. I know y'all, a lot of y'all ain't bearing witness. It's not about me. I want you to focus on you. I'm only using myself as an example of some kind of like confession. You know, I'm not standing for you like some holy man. Standing for you as your brother. So when you're in doubt, when you're down and out, think about the good that you've done. Think about how Allah has blessed you. Be slow to judge and even slower to condemn. And give our children enough room to grow. They ain't got no place else to go. America's shutting down all around them, and there'll be no other place than to be here. They won't be like the prodigal son and prodigal daughter. There ain't nothing out there but hard times and bubble gum, and they fresh out of the bubble gum. They'll be back here. Sometimes it's our own duplicity, our own hypocrisy that they see. We're one thing dressed up, we're another thing at home. They hear us on the phone. They see what we say. They're sitting in the back seat of the car. You don't think that you think they're young, they don't hear what, they don't understand what you're saying. They remember how you was talking about that sister or that brother. Teach. They suffered through not being able to celebrate Christmas. And we didn't work hard enough to give them a proper substitute in Savior's Day and the Eid feasts. Come on. They wanted to do Halloween. Right. Yeah, they did. Their children. That's right. Their peers, their friends, they're all doing this. They wanted to go to the party. At least to have the joy of going to the party and have the conversation. It used to be that church and home and school were the influences. And later on, the social scientists found out it was peers that had more influence than church and school and family. So, peer pressure, as one has said, has now put our children in a position where they're listening to their peers. They're talking to each other. They ain't talking to us. They ain't listening to us. If they're listening, they ain't hearing us. Y'all mad at me or something? No, sir. So don't be so quick to judge. And be even slower to condemn. That's right. Come on. Remember this, brother and sister. Jesus picked his disciples, and one of them was a devil. Come on. Come on. Mary Magdalene was a prostitute, but she was at the cross with Jesus. That's right. And look for him after his crucifixion. So don't judge a book by its cover, because you never know. Today's believer could be tomorrow's hypocrite, and today's hypocrite could be tomorrow's believer. You just don't know. That's right. What Brother Robert spoke of was a man that is a Quran walking. And if we rooted ourselves in the Holy Quran, we would see Farrakhan mirroring Muhammad. Muhammad came to Mecca ready to conquer in 620. His enemies shivered because he came with 10,000 feelers. And after they had ran him from his hometown, made war against him, tried to extinguish the light of Islam, but he came to Mecca. And he didn't slay them. He gave them mercy. And all he wanted to do was clear out the Kaaba of the idols. How many idols do we have in our Kaaba? Come on now. Come on. Minister Farrakhan doesn't want us to worship him. We'd be a fool to worship him, he said. He's not perfect, but he said he's perfect enough for us. We seen a man that was at the apex, the top of the food chain, second only to the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, out of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad's mouth. Right. You second only to myself. Right. You have some new to gender searching you. You second only to myself. Think about it. Think about it. He's at the apex. He's on radio. Farrakhan this, Farrakhan that. He draws nearly 75,000 to Randall's Island in May of 1974. They shut it down. They had to helicopter him in. Then repeated it with another 40,000 later on. Only to see his Nation of Islam literally gone in less than a year. Him be accused of stealing money, being the chief hypocrite. A man that did that kind of work. Rebuilding New York City after Malcolm's death. The mosque got burned down. Y'all forget it was firebombed. He rebuilt it. Not only that, Muhammad Mosque number 7 all the way through T. B, C, D, you know the alphabet. Muhammad University of Islam, businesses, national spokesman. Think about it. And then he believes that his master is dead and follows his son. Now, a man that falls from grace like that, then gets back up and goes to win those who were angry with him because he didn't stand up and fight for the leadership. But he didn't want to fight for the leadership because it would have led to bloodshed. It would have led to bloodshed. You weren't there. Trust and believe I was. It would have led to bloodshed. He had to go back and try to re-win the disciples of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Then at a certain point in time, he taught that the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad was physically alive and not dead. People looked at, oh, hell. 1984, 85, he put us in the political process with Reverend Jesse Jackson. Oh, well, Muslims don't vote. Here we go. Farrakhan preaches Jesus better than any gospel preacher I know. He's in the churches. And what do they say? What are he doing in the church? We just follow him with suspicion and doubt, like in the 18th surah of the Holy Quran. This ain't about me. What I'm trying to do, sister and brother, is prepare you for something that we being prepared for. Unlike the time when Honorable Elijah Muhammad departed, we didn't expect that. But now we can see it coming, man. We can see it coming. He's already prepared us for it. The question is, are we heeding the call? So I'm going to do the best I can to get through this lecture. Truth, warning, and guidance. First, I want to ask all of you to please pray for Brother Alexander and Brother Darek. Both of them have lost their mothers recently. Brother Alexander's mother passed away this morning. I got the message this morning that his mother returned to Allah. So keep them in your prayers, please. And remember, family is everything, brothers and sisters. You know, I don't know what your feeling is about your mama and your papa and what you went through and what they didn't do for you, and they didn't buy you no Christmas present, and they didn't do all that, you know, whatever. They didn't buy you no Savior's Day gift. I don't know. But you don't only get one mother and father, man. I don't care why your daddy walked away. Go find out why, man. He might tell you why he walked away. Why he didn't kill your mama. When you're mature enough, family secret, I just walked away. And sometimes he just walked away. It wasn't your mama's fault. It was his fault. He walked away. But you only get one mother and father, man. Come on. Cherish those moments that you have, because those of us who don't, when our mother's anniversary or the birthday comes about, or our own birthday comes out, we think about our mothers, man, and it can send us into to a place that is dark. You know? And you begin to think about all the things you should have and could have said to your mother and your father while you had them here, but you didn't do it. You took it for granted. Don't take it for granted. Family is everything. The Honorable Louis Farrakhan teaches that family is second only to Allah. Second only to Allah. Allah, family, nation. In that order. Y'all all right?
Yes, sir.
Truth, warning, and guidance. Family is everything. If we don't have strong families, brothers and sisters, we won't have a strong nation. But we can't have a strong family if we don't have strong marriages. And we can't have strong marriages if we don't have strong brothers and strong sisters that want to unite and make strong marriages, to make strong families, to make a strong nation. So, my single brothers, I need you to sign up for the family conference that's coming up August the 9th through the 11th. Single brothers. Single brothers. Single brothers. What you waiting on? What you waiting on? What you looking for? What you waiting for? Man, heaven is right over here. My left, your right. Don't look. My left, your right, man. What's wrong with you? We need to clear our eyes. We need to take another look at what Allah has blessed us with in our system. Hear me, all praise to Allah. We need to take another look. We need to take another look. Please take another look at our sisters. You grew up with them in the mosque. You think you know them. And maybe you do and maybe you don't. But you really don't know them. And sisters, you really don't know the brother. If you're looking for perfection, look to God. You looking for perfection, look to God. You will not change a man unless he wants to change himself. Ain't nothing you got that can change a man. You heard what I said? Nothing. But you can help him change if he wants to change. You see potential in it, then nurture it like you nurture your own children. Does that make sense? So we have to. Single brothers, sign up, because the sisters are signing up waiting. When will my help come? We got born again virgins up in here. You didn't hear me. I said we got born again virgins up in here. Some of these sisters have been chased so long, they ain't been chased. Y'all didn't get that one. Those are two homonyms, chase, C-H-A-S-E, and chase, C-H-A-S-T-E. Chase means that they've been righteous, they've been holy, they have been not defiled in any way. And chase means ain't nobody running after them. So single brothers, you need to sign up, because we're going to have a slam dunk weekend that weekend. It's going to be fun. We ain't partied like it was 1999 a long time around here. I don't know about y'all, but that July 4th thing gave me the bug. I ain't the state of the marriage or state of the family or state of the region, whatever I'm supposed to talk about. I'm going to be talking about going forward. Not what, and we got all these divorces and people is unhappy. And man, come on. I'll be talking about, man, how you make yourself happy, how you make your marriage whole, how you can be a happy warrior out here, how you both can take the best of both of you and put it together and come up with a new whole. How you can find solace and comfort in this black woman, brother. And how you can be a renewed man by not conforming yourself to this world, but being transformed by the renewing of your mind and taking off the old man and putting on the new man. And when she sees the new man coming on, she sees God manifesting, and she will do anything for you, brother. It's party time. So we're going to have this family conference. Put your nickels, dimes, and quarters together, damn it, because we always buy what we want, but we beg for what we need. And what we need is a good woman and a good man. We need good families. We need a strong nation. We need to look within ourselves. This ain't about the white man. This is about you and me. and how he's ill-affected us and made us like himself. Master Fard Muhammad, the teacher of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, our Savior God in person, was very kind in his language. He said we were other than self. But what is your own self? Your own self is a righteous Muslim. I don't care what you think you are by nature born to submit to do the will of God. That's your nature. Y'all mad at me? But the enemy has made us into himself. See, your brother and sister from the Caribbean is a lot more rebellious because they got dropped off first. Our brother and sister in Haiti rose up against the French, kicked they behind, and established the first black republic in this hemisphere. I know history makes y'all go to sleep, but I got to give it to you. The Maroons in Jamaica cut crackers' heads off at night. Ran up in the hills, came back down, killed more white people. And rebellious Negroes, man, all throughout there. It was all kind of slave rebellion. We didn't all go along shuffling and looking like Butterfly McQueen and damn Gone with the Wind. Yeah, Miss Collins, we wasn't like that. But they isolated, when they brought us in America, we were totally cut off. What they did to us, we were totally and thoroughly robbed. So you're a different kind of Negro. He made you want to be him more than you want to be yourself. Talk to me about no Africa. Talk to me about no Islam. Nothing about that. My Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. And close your eyes and say Jesus 3 times. Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. And what comes up in your mind? Blonde hair, blue-eyed Peckerwood with some crown around there. Or he's standing there with a lamb in his arm doing like this with his heart all out. That's what you see. You don't see no black man. You don't see nobody look like me. If I tell you Jesus is black, you might throw your black power fist up, but in your mind, Jesus is a white man. He done power drive whiteness all down in us. We want to be them in black skin. So we need truth, warning, and guidance. I need the single brothers to sign up, man. And get with these sisters, man. We need to be performing some weddings all through 2019, 2020. We need to be having weddings coming out the yin yang. And if you got married, get remarried again. Renew your vows. We need some renewal vow week. You know, they used to have Disaster Week on the Channel 13 movie. Disaster Week on the 3 o'clock movie. We need some Renew Your Vows week at Mosque 45. I say something wrong? Look, sister and brother, all down ain't always forever. No matter what you're going through, remember we pray to Allah to be taken on the straight path, Sirata Mustaqim, the straight path. But it may be a straight path, but that don't mean it ain't gonna have some ups and downs. All down ain't forever. It's preparation for your come up. Y'all. That ain't even my subject. Truth, warning, and guidance. I want to thank the Muslims for all of their community work that they did on yesterday. I want to thank the sisters for holding their MGT class, the brothers for FOI class, for the Wednesday night Supreme Wisdom study that we're doing, Brother Robert. We're going through the restrictive laws of Islam page by page, man, and clearing every word we don't understand, supplementing it, and we're going to take all the 16 restrictive laws of Islam and point them out where every one of them is in the Holy Quran, brother. We're doing a deep dive study because the restrictive law of Islam is our success. If we're not successful, it's because we're not following the law. Friday night self-improvement study group. We was getting busy. We were getting busy, man. So, you know, it's this kind of study that if you came high, you got sober.
That's right. That's a fact. That's a fact. Come on, say it. That's a fact. Keep it rolling.
The loudest thing in there was the truth that was hitting our ears. But we praise Allah for us going to study group on the north side and out in Fresno and Southwest and right here at Mosque 45. Brothers and sisters, avail yourself of what God gave you. Master Father Muhammad said, every time the temple doors open, the believer should be there. That's a command from God. And there's a hadith whereas Prophet Muhammad said that a Muslim should not go 3 nights without seeing his brother.
Come on now. Come on.
So that's why we have meetings like we do. They're not optional. There are reasons why you can't come. But our Wednesday night meeting, brother, it's only an hour and 15 minutes. Out of respect for the sisters having to take care of all that they got to take care of to get their family ready for Thursday morning. Let's be merciful.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So I want to thank everyone for their community work. I want to thank Sister Maddie, Sister Aisha, and of course the Victory Wellness and Nutrition Initiative. I want to thank you, sister, for that 105-degree heat out there, sis. I don't really want you out there like that. I want you sitting in the car directing, pointing. That's why I'm drinking cold water and pointing and making all of the soldiers do what they got to do. You have led this charge long enough, and I don't have the recent count. Brother James is up here on post, so he can't tell me. He usually texts me, but I know we're over 4,300 and some odd meals. There are almost 4,400 something meals that we've done since the beginning of the year. All praises due to Allah. I want to thank those who helped with the lunches at the OG1 puts on his 9th annual Snuffing Out the Smell of Death. Man, they had over 187 people stacked and packed in that courtroom, brother and sister, in that spot. Man, united in peace, and Brother Reginald doing his thing, man. See, that brother he's the creator of Scared Straight.
That's right.
They stole it from him.
That's right.
He was the one they used to bring the children up in, and he would pull out his teeth and scare the children to death. I don't want to go to prison after that, man. He would tell them he's the one that created it. HBO stole it.
Come on now.
Y'all hear what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
He did that yesterday, man, stacked and packed up in there. Children of all races and colors was up in that joint. Man, it was something. And we thank the believers who helped with that in preparation of the lunches and helping to make that a thing to happen. So there was a lot going on yesterday. I know I'm forgetting something, and I don't want to downplay anybody who has done any amount of work. The brothers that go out to Greenspoint, the brothers that are always down there at Kings Row and down in Sunnyside, the brothers that go out to Royal Palms, like we'll be going on tomorrow. Look, man, thank you. And I want to thank Brother Keeley and Brother Danny for going with Reverend Smalls over to the Martin Luther King Center. There's the thing, Wheeler Avenue owns all of that property over there in the bottom of the 3rd Ward. And they was messing with the preacher who has been keeping the legacy of Magdalene Bush alive. Y'all don't know who she is, but the bottom line is the Martin Luther King Center is a safe house with many of the 103 gangs and that. They come there, they settle their differences. It's a place of refuge, man, of peace. And we go over there and we train some people in doing floors and electrician work and all kind of stuff, man, and positive things go on over there. And they were having a back and forth with the Wheeler Avenue people trying to, put this memorandum of understanding on the man. And so Brother Danny and Brother Kelly went with Reverend Smalls, and it was a positive, good meeting because they say that Reverend Smalls is an undercover Muslim anyway, but he is, I don't care what he claims, he is a Muslim anyway. And so it came out peacefully, but everybody has done something, brother and sister. And if I missed you, it's not that I just can't think I got to teach my lesson. And I just want to say these things, brother and sister. Sometimes we just don't say thank you enough.
Come on. Come on.
We just don't say thank you. Oh, man. Okay, come on, let's go to the lessons. Our Supreme Wisdom lessons. Lost Found Muslim lesson number 2, question answer number 17. What is the meaning of civilization? This is a question asked by Master Fard Muhammad to his student, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, after teaching him for 3 years and 4 months. Give me that answer, brother. One having knowledge, wisdom, understanding, culture, and refinement is not savage pursuit of happiness. And those Muslims, as we study Lost Found Muslim lesson number 1, question and answer number 2, why did Musa have a hard time civilizing the devil 2000 BC? And civilized means to teach the knowledge, wisdom of the human family of the planet Earth. So when we talk about civilization, no, go back, brother, please. When we're talking about civilization, we're talking about knowledge, wisdom, understanding, culture, refinement, and is not savage. Savage is a person that's lost the knowledge of himself and is living a beast life. You know what I mean? Lions, tigers, and bears, oh my. Okay, pursuit of happiness. Civilized is the pursuit of happiness. We've got to, there's things that we can pursue. As the Thomas Jefferson wrote in his Declaration of Independence, you know, he said, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Y'all okay?
Yes, sir.
All right, now let's go to the next. Okay. Now, this world is built on an idea of white supremacy.
No doubt about it.
That this world, and it comes out of a black man by the name of Mr. Yakub. He only lived to be 150 years old, but the process of making Caucasian people, making the white man, took 600 years. So he was dead. But his idea completed the process, and they were given 6,000 years to rule. The scriptures tell you 6 days shall he work. And on the seventh day is the Sabbath day, is the Lord's day, he shall come to rest. And a day unto the Lord is 1,000 years. So, my brothers, my sisters, he was given 6,000 years to work. Not the original man, but this made man. And so as the astronaut, as Neil Armstrong stepped out of the lunar module, he said, one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind. The man is the man that put the moon out there. Mankind is the kind of like a man that finally got to go where the man put the moon, which was once part of the earth. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us in this illuminating book, Message to the Black Man, that once the earth was 35,000 miles in its circumference, meaning around. Now it's 24,896 miles in circumference. So how do you account for that 10,000 square miles less? It is because a great explosion took place. The scientists bear witness, a great explosion took place on this planet Earth, and that's what moon is. Notice the moon does not rotate. It doesn't rotate on its axis. All you ever see is the light side of the moon. You never see the dark side of it. It has no water. All of its water is here on this planet. Y'all okay?
Yes, sir.
All right. Now, this man Yakub was commissioned by God directly, meaning he had permission to do what he did. See, the thing that I want us to be able to do, brothers and sisters, from this point forward, is stop blaming others for our condition.
Come on. Come on.
Now, it ain't your mama fault, it ain't your daddy fault, it ain't your white boss that fired you, it ain't the dope dealer that sold you the dope, it ain't your teacher that didn't educate you. Ain't nobody's fault right now. You got to look at self, because once you know the truth sets you free. Free from what? From blaming others for what you have the power to change yourself. Well, y'all don't like what I'm saying, but it's okay. So, you have come into the mind of God now, who has now intervened in the person of Master Fard Muhammad. He's intervened in our affairs. And now you'll notice that white people's world is being upset. They can't seem to get it together. The dark man in the earth, all over the earth now, is waking up. And even you and I are waking up. But he's pushing back to make sure we stay dead asleep. He keeps on waking us up. We okay? Meaning God keeps waking us up. Now, Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, I'm the first man since the death of Yakub commissioned by God directly. I say no more than what Jesus said. He said that he came from God, and I say that I am missioned by God. Well, what is his mission? What is the Honorable Elijah Muhammad's mission? Resurrection of the dead. Now, you're not going no cemetery nowhere as much as I love my mama. I would love to go to the House of Ruth Cemetery in Whitesboro, New Jersey, and get my mama up out of there as much as I would love to do it. It ain't gonna happen. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust, earth to earth. When your body's committed to the earth, it goes back to the earth. Because if all the people that ever existed on this earth were to be resurrected at once, you only got 57,255,000 square miles of land up in here. Where would they stand? Get the white man's concept of spirituality out your mind. Of God out of your mind. He mistaught you. If you knew God, if you knew truth, you would be free. There's a church on every corner. We were driving down one street, Brother Eric and I. He pointed out 7 churches on one block. And then a liquor store in between all of them. But this isn't about physical resurrection. This is about mental resurrection. You already the most spiritual people on earth. Nobody can out-spirit the black man. If we're a Hebrew, we'll be on the corner with a bullhorn cussing you out. Not just blessing you out. Going hard in the paint with a bullhorn. If you become a Christian, you can't outpraise us. You talk about speaking in tongues, getting the Holy Ghost, beating that tambourine, out singing. You can't out sing us. You go to white church and they sing with that organ be sounding like that Damien music, like. Black man be getting busy, man, with an out-of-tune piano. Huh? Yo. It's the truth. It's the truth. You can't outpraise us. And then Muslims. We become Muslims. We from South Park, man, and we be having this alhamdulillah, brother. We got South Park Arabic. You can't outdo us. We're going to be more Muslim than the Muslim. Hell, if we even become Mormons, we ride the bicycle better than the Mormons. You can't outspirit the black man. No matter what we do. We're spiritual people. But that's not our problem. Our problem is we need mental resurrection. So this is why he's talking about knowledge. The meaning of civilization is knowledge. Once you know who you are, and then you know whose you are, then all that spirit is activated and moved in the right direction. But if you're ignorant of the knowledge of yourself, then all the spirit you have is misdirected towards self-destruction, self-negation, and elevating them while devaluing ourselves. Y'all okay? Yes, sir. So it's mental resurrection to take you from where you are to where you will be soon and very soon. Y'all okay? Yes, sir. Okay, let's look at this message. Let's look at this truth, warning, guidance from the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. He says, so the country is right now in great confusion because the institutions of government that were set up by the founding fathers are now being challenged by a president who really wants to operate as a king. Some of us want to be dictators. We don't want any reign on our power. We would rather be one to make all the decisions and force them on others who are under our authority. So that means some of us want to be kings. So any structure that is set up to bridle the power of any office, if that office does not agree with us, there's a spirit to destroy it. So President Trump is literally destroying the republic that the founding fathers wanted to guide and gird it against what they suffered in Europe from kings. Now, with all due respect to you all, you and I, how can I put it? But what's happening right now is there's a dice game going on between two sets of white people. And the only thing we are the spots on the dice. We ain't got no call in this. It's just how they roll us, how they count us. We ain't got no say in this thing. There's two sets of white folk fighting this thing out. You got to understand, they're destroying their own government that they set up. You didn't set it up. You and I wasn't in the room. They didn't even consider us. The only thing they did was negotiate a compromise amongst themselves to keep us enslaved. How long we was going to be enslaved, how long they was going to import slaves. Y'all ain't hearing me. And then they settled on that and they formed this government that right now is falling apart right before our eyes. I hope y'all okay. Let's look at what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad says in Fall of America. He says to us in the chapter called Confusion of People. Isn't that something? That's a heck of a title right there. You don't think white folks are confused? Yes, sir. They're confused. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said America is being torn to pieces politically as Pharaoh's political party was in the days when Jehovah went after the freedom of Israel. Egypt was plagued with droughts, great hailstorms, rain, and fire, according to the Psalms, running side by side, fire and water. These plagues are now visiting America from Almighty Allah, God. The people are confused right now. And right now, America is getting hit every which way but a loose with all kinds. Let's show them, brother. Wildfires in the West, floods in the Midwest. And these floods in the Midwest, brother and sister, is causing the farms in the Midwest, which is the breadbasket of America, not to be able to produce. And then Mr. Trump's trade policy is bankrupting the farmers. So there may be famine, not maybe, there will be famine in the land. We need to prepare ourselves accordingly. First of all, by disciplining our mouths and our stomachs, what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us, eat one meal a day and learn how to fast. Because if you don't have food and you're a 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 meal a day individual, you're going to be hungry all the time.
Say that.
I'm hungry. I'm hungry. Look at this. Huh? The plagues in Egypt. Locusts. Grasshoppers. All in Las Vegas. Sin City. Viva Las Vegas. Yeah, okay. I'm glad my son and my daughter-in-law and my grandchildren got up out of there. This is recent. Let's look at the next plague. Record rainfall. Says here, percent increase from 1958 to 2012 in the amount of precipitation falling in very heavy events. Very heavy precipitation is defined as the heaviest 1% of all daily events from 1958 to 2012. Look at all of this rain. And America has ignored her own infrastructure. So this is undermining the foundation of bridges and roads and highways and buildings. God is plaguing America with the forces of nature. Let's look at what else God is doing. Now, according to the New York Times, it reads, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration attempts to calculate the full cost of major disasters, namely those that cause more than $1 billion in damages. In its estimates that 2017 was the costliest year on record, with $16 billion disasters that together cost the United States more than $300 billion. While natural disasters are unpredictable, the annual losses from billion-dollar disasters adjusted for inflation have increased over the last 40 years. How long did the children of Israel wander in the wilderness? Ooh. Just saying. I'm just saying. Now, why is America catching it like it is? Y'all all right?
Yes, sir.
I'm going somewhere where no man has gone before. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, in fulfilling what is written of Muhammad in the Quran, had a more than a vision experience. September 17, 1985. Where he was taken to hear the voice of his teacher, the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, who gave him instructions of what to do. A man that the world said was dead, Mr. Farrakhan was taken in a vision to the wheel, the mother of planes. I won't recount it all, but you need to understand that the wheel is that great mother plane and it allowed God's calling card. So I don't believe, what wheel, what are you talking about? You say you believe in the Bible. You say you do. Well, didn't the children of Israel, weren't they led in the desert by a pillar of fire and a pillar of smoke? And wasn't God's presence up in the top of that pillar? Didn't Ezekiel have a vision of a wheel within a wheel? It didn't come from outer space. It came from the earth. Y'all ain't hearing me. Elijah never died. Elijah was taken to heaven in a fiery chariot. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. Jesus was seen taken up in the cloud. Said the Son of Man would be taken in the cloud, and we would see the Son of Man return in the cloud. And then Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, was taken to Mecca, from Mecca to Jerusalem, on the back of a horse that got wings. Now, come on, brothers and sisters. If you believe that, then at least don't suspend what I'm about to tell you. Mr. Farrakhan had a more than a vision experience. When Honorable Elijah Muhammad told him the plans of the then president, he told him that he was planning a war. The Joint Chiefs of Staff and the president had met and had planned a war. I want you to hold a press conference, tell the people what the president is planning, and tell them you got it from me, Elijah Muhammad, on the wheel. And he told him, you got one more thing to do, and then you can come back and see me face to face. Mr. Farrakhan's been faithful over these last 34 plus years to that promise. He keeps trying to do that one more thing. He didn't know that there would be 6 presidents that would all have problems with Islamic nations. Ronald Reagan with Libya, George H.W. Bush with Iraq and Saddam Hussein, Bill Clinton with Osama bin Laden and the coal incident, and he went and he blew up a pharmaceutical plant in the Sudan. Y'all ain't hearing me. George W. Bush, who went back in Iraq again. President Obama, you thought he pulled him out, but the truth of the matter is he killed more Muslims with drone strikes than his predecessor did. And now today, Donald John Trump pulled out of the Iran nuclear agreement at the urging of Israel. And right now it's planning a war. But there's not only an external war against Muslim nations. There's an internal war going on with a Muslim nation that's in the belly of the beast, and that's the Nation of Islam. Because there's only one man that's standing up today speaking the truth, and that's the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. He's the only man that I see that they're banning from social media. Y'all ain't hearing me. He's a man that if you want to be in the White House or be of anything of significance in America, you have to repudiate Farrakhan. Muslims ain't nothing. Farrakhan ain't nothing. He ain't doing nothing. Then why can't you get to the White House unless you repudiate a man that ain't nothing? That don't even make sense. Let's see what else is going on. Now, y'all laughing in your mind. Some of y'all look at me. This nigga up here talking about spaceships. Farrakhan went to a spaceship and talked to Elijah Muhammad and then was told to come back down, beam me down, Scotty, and then he went and held the press conference, which he did, and been telling these plans. And the plans came out with a New Yorker magazine, said that, in fact, the Joint Chiefs of Staff had met. And were planning a war against Libya. Who told Farrakhan that? It's found in the 17th surah of the Holy Quran, brothers and sisters. Read the first verse of it, where it talks about God taking his servant at night to the remote mosque. There was no mosque there. There was no mosque. Omar, the third caliph of Islam, built the mosque. There was no mosque in Jerusalem. So what is Allah talking about here? You'll figure that out later. But anyway, y'all can clown us all you want to, but white folks ain't. These Navy pilots engaged. Now, this is from a story from June 19th, I love that, 2019. Navy pilots encountered these wheels And they moved and maneuvered. They went so fast and maneuvered so fast. They couldn't have been anything that man, quote unquote, that mankind had made. So you think, oh man, see, Muslims be tripping, man. Really? Then why did the senators get a classified briefing on UFO sightings? See, classified, that means you and I can't be in the room. That means the Pentagon told them what these pilots saw and experienced up there, but you and I can't know. Why can't we know? Why is it above top secret? Any government that can't protect its people loses control of the people. Does that make sense? All right. Let me give you some scripture and then we're going to go home. Now, I want you to go and study this at home. If you can't remember it, remember it. The night journey. Go to Surah 17, verse 1. And I want you to study the footnotes of Surah 30 called the Romans. Footnote 3a, Maulana Muhammad Ali, where he talks about the Persians. I'm going to hit this later. The Persians and the Roman Empire. I'm going to show you a map in a minute. Brother Warren likes that. He likes that kind of stuff. Go study the book of Daniel about Nebuchadnezzar's dream. Y'all okay?
Yes, sir.
Nebuchadnezzar's dream and what he dreamt about. This great image that he dreamt about. Head of gold, silver, and brass, and iron mixed with miry clay. Read about that and how he could not interpret the dream and needed Daniel to interpret the dream. Who's the modern day Daniel today? It's Farrakhan.
That's right.
He's interpreting Donald Trump's dream. Donald Trump is troubled, and none of his advisors can get him out of it. He really wants to make America great again, but there's something in him that just won't allow him to do it the right way, which is let our people go.
Right. Come on.
Y'all looking at the clock. Okay. So go to the book of Daniel, and then you're going to find about the king of Persia, the Medes and the Persians, called Darius the Great.
Yes, sir.
And how he defeated Babylon, freed the Jews so that they could go back and rebuild the temple. Now, this is how you know that the Jews in Israel is fake Jews. Because Darius the Great was a Mede and Persian, meaning Iran, that freed them from Babylonian captivity and sent them back. Then why is Israel so bent on destroying Iran? Because them are fake Jews. They're not the real Jews. And while they were in Babylonian captivity, they wrote this Talmud, which is the Holy Quran says they wrote a book with their hand and gave it to the people and said, this is from Allah. No, that's their interpretation of the book. And this is why Farrakhan is fighting with them, and that's the synagogue of Satan that we're fighting against. It ain't all Jews. Them that respect and honor the Torah, we respect and honor them. We will defend and give our life to defend their houses of worship. You didn't hear me. I'm telling you the truth. But them Talmudic Jews that allow for pedophilia, rape of Gentile women, pornography, gambling, robbing, stealing, lying, doing whatever the hell they want to do to people who are Gentiles, and they know your identity. They know you the chosen of God, and they still use and abuse you and make you look in the eyes of God as being worthless so that they can continue to rule. And if you are God's choice and you run around here butt naked, sister, and you run around here killing and murdering one another, brother, then they say, God, you chose them over me. I am better. Look at me. Look at them. You're the chosen of God, and it's hard for you to accept it, because if you accepted it, you'd act like it.
That's right.
And I'm not talking about false bravado. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about you walk with that kind of swag, man, that righteous swag.
Come on. That's great. Come on. Come on. Wake us up.
All right, let's finish up. This is Iran on the world map. I want you to see. Here's what they call Africa, Asia, Europe. Here's America over here, North America, the poor part of the planet Earth over here. And then you look at this great country of Iraq. Here's the Gulf. They call it the Persian Gulf. The Arabians call it the Arabian Gulf. I ain't arguing with neither one of them. It's really our Gulf. But anyway, right here is the Strait of Hormuz where most of the oil flows through. And this is where conflict is starting to heat up as a prelude to attacking Iran.
Yes, sir.
Y'all hear me?
Yes, sir.
War is on the horizon, brothers and sisters, and the black, brown bodies that they got in the military are going to be used. Your and my brothers and sisters will be used, and if they go over there, they're not coming back.
Go ahead. Right. Go ahead.
Next. Now, let me take you back in the Wayback Machine. This is why I want you to study Surah 30 and the footnote in Muhammad Ali 3A is because you have to understand the Roman and the Persian empires, what's going on.
Yes, sir.
The Roman and the Persian empires were clashing at that time. And there's a prediction in the 30th surah of the Holy Quran of the fall of the defeat of the Roman Empire, and then the Roman Empire comes back and pushes back on the Persian Empire. But in what is all said and done, Islam comes out of the Arabian desert and conquers both of them.
That's right.
Pushes the Romans back up into Constantinople.
That's right.
And Islam sweeps all the way over to China.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
So these desert Arabs come up out of here and push them all the way into Europe.
Come on.
And so you got to understand, I want you to read those footnotes and follow. I just want to get a picture in your mind of this map. This is how the world was. They were going back and forth, conquering Jerusalem, backwards and forth, these two powers. Islam came out of the desert and pushed them both out of the way. Okay?
Right, sir.
Y'all get bored when I go professor. When I go professor on y'all get bored. All right. I love you. I love you. I love you. All right, let's close. Let's close with a word of faith from a tweet from the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. Now, I said all of that to say this. Minister Farrakhan said, and I'm quoting him, "This is no time for us to tremble and to shake.
That's right.
This is the time for us to sink our root deeper into our faith that there's no God but Allah and that Muhammad is his messenger."
Yes, sir.
This is where I started. This is where I am. Sisters and brothers, you got to stand on your own two spiritual feet.
Right.
Do you understand me?
Yes, sir.
God came to save you, and through his grace, the example of his messenger, Messiah, and exalted Christ, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and his Messiah, and our Mr. Honorable Louis Farrakhan, they've given you examples, but you and I have to stand on our own 2 feet. You're going to be tried in your own way. Your trial is not going to be my trial.
Right. That's right.
Your trial is going to be different. There's something you're going to have to give up. There's something you're going to have to accept that's going to try your faith.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Most definitely.
Yes, sir.
But it's your personal, individual trial. And how you and I react to that individual personal trial will then affect us as a community.
Yes, sir.
Brothers and sisters, if you fall down, get back up and brush off your knees.
That's right. That's right.
I'm not Father Halim.
Go ahead.
I'm Brother Halim.
Yes, sir.
You don't sit in no confessional booth to me talking about, "Bless me, Father, for I have sinned. My sins are." I don't want, hey, that's your business.
Right. That's right.
That's between you and Holy Allah.
That's right. No innocence.
Because you haven't been greatly unjust to me.
Right.
You've been greatly unjust to who?
Yourself.
To yourself. So you confess your faults. Not to me, but to Allah.
Right. That's right.
Y'all all right?
Yes, sir.
If you fall down, keep it to yourself. Ask Allah to bless you, brother and sister. Please. And don't stay away from the hospital. Keep coming to the hospital and getting your medicine.
That's right. Say that again. Yeah.
I ain't been right. I know you haven't been. God knows it.
Come on, hospital.
You act as if, and here's the thing about us. We are so hard on each other and ourselves. Our mouths sometimes become like open sepulchres full of dead man's bones. Nothing but death come out of our mouth. Not life, not hope, not joy, not mercy, not grace. We so hard, man. Damn, just a few days ago, you was a Negro like me. Just a few days ago, you forgot? You forgot what you were doing before you heard these life-giving teachings? So how you going to be hard on somebody else?
Come on. Come on. All right, brother. Yes,
I wish we could love like this, man.
Yes, sir.
I wish we could love like Brother Fark. I wish we could love like Brother Fark. You know what? Sister Helen can bear you witness. You can go to the table. I did something to Sister Helen. She could go to the table and say, Brother Minister, and Minister Halim did so and so and so and so and so and so. And she may be 1,000% telling the truth, but now he will search her soul to see why she brought it. That's the kind of man, I'll get punished, or she'll get punished for if it was vice versa. But he will go into, what's the motive? Why'd you bring it now? Well, see, he always does that, and the man listens. He always does that. What do you mean? He's done this before? Yes, sir, he's done it before. Well, why you bring it to me now? That's the kind of man we're dealing with, a man that will look into your very motives as to why you bring. He listens. So you can, it's both sides. There ain't no one side of the story. There's your side, my side, and the truth. We've sat in scenes like that. So, brothers and sisters, look. We got to get his heart for one another. We got to love like he loves. We got to be committed like the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was committed to building a nation, an independent reality for us. All right, I'm gone. What's the solution? When it's all said and done, what's the solution, brother and sister? Because if you listen to Mr. Trump, he's getting more and more buck wild. God has taken out of him a heart of flesh, as it says in the book of Daniel, and put in him a heart of a beast. You hear what he said about Congressman Cummings' district in Baltimore?
Yes, sir.
And what he's talking about in terms of these black women congresswomen? They're going buck wild, man. And you sitting around talking about, but if we get them Democrats in, it's going to be better. No. They got to promise them white people in the middle of the country the same thing Trump promised them in order to win them. Y'all okay?
Yes, sir.
Let's look at the solution, though. This is the solution coming up. Minister Farrakhan said, if you want to save this nation from the plagues of God, see, God is fighting a battle for you.
That's right.
You don't even want, the children of Israel gave Moses the blues. Who made you, who made you God over us? Who did that? And he said, this God that said, I am that I am, said that, let my people go. You want to integrate, God wants to separate.
Right.
So, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said they need to give us 8 to 10 states.
That's right.
Here or else, I don't know, he's going to be here. We built the country, hell, it's ours anyway.
That's right.
You want reparations? I want land and reparations.
Right. There you go.
In that order.
There you go.
Because you give the Negroes a check, it's all over.
Yeah. Right.
You're going to be you're going to be at the Galleria.
Come on.
And they'll be holding reparation sales. 50% off. Reparation sale. That's just like he has Labor Day sale, Veteran Day sale, reparation sale, 50% off right here. The Gucci shop. You'll be walking around with Gucci and Poochie and Hoochie and all that on. Cadillac stock will go up. Sprint stock will go up. Huh? Colt 45. We've been investing in weed in Colorado. And what and that money be right back in the hands of the people that gave it to us. And we'd be right back in the same old raggedy condition. We need knowledge of self. We need some land. And then to be supported for 20 to 25 years so we can go for ourselves. Because God is tearing America apart. You can't see it because you're so blinded and in love with this no good enemy that we got.
No good.
So, know that the Nation of Islam fell. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad predicted it would. It did. He said, but it would rise again, never to fall again. This is who we are. We're the remnant of his seed. And when the minister goes back to the Father, his rendezvous with destiny, they're going to make war with the remnant of the seed, but we're never going to fall. I'll end where I started. One of our babies that I seen grow up in this recited some wisdom to me that, like I was like blown away. And it gave me great comfort and confidence that this nation will never fall again. Islam is not a religion, brothers and sisters. Islam is a way of life.
That's right.
It's a way of life, brothers and sisters. How to eat to live, how to think to live, how to cook to live, how to clean to live, how to raise your children to live, how to take care of your husband and your wife to live, how to do for self to live. All of it, food, clothing, and shelter, education, transportation, communication, any field you can think of, we need to do for ourselves. This is not just talk, man. Donald Trump is a madman. He is like Nero fiddling while Rome is burning. And when something happens, there's going to be an event that's going to happen, they're going to blame us and the Iranians because they're getting ready to make war with Iran on behest of Israel. But that will be a conflagration, a war that it's going to spill out of them borders. When you attack them 80 to 90 million of them people that love death more than they love life, see, them different kind of Muslims. Them Iranians, them Shia are different kind of Muslims. You're going to see. So the best thing that we can do, brothers and sisters, is indeed register to vote. That's what the minister said. He said you can't do it soon enough, but have a vision as to what you want. I'm closing with this. I know that threw you for a loop. The minister said in his words, he said register. He said, register to vote. He said, do it. He said, you need to do it a little bit more quickly. But you got to have a vision attached to it. What is your and my agenda? Huh? What's our agenda? What do we want? What do we believe? What do we want? What do we believe? I know what I want. I know what I believe. It's on the back of the Final Call newspaper. It's called the Muslim Program. We're clear about that. But the Honorable Louis Farrakhan was told by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, he told me the same thing. He said, think for the whole and speak for the whole. So you got to start where our people are. They want freedom, full and complete freedom. They want justice. They want the law of justice applied equally regardless of creed or class or color. Huh? They want equality. They want equality of opportunity. They want membership in society with the best in civilized society. You got to start there. But absent of that, because it's not in the white man's nature to give you freedom, give you justice, or give you equality. So now we got to tell him to keep God from plaguing you, hitting you like God hit Egypt. You need to give us some of this earth we can call our own. But in the meantime, we got to be about the business of civilizing ourselves. Cleaning up our lives, making our own neighborhood decent and safe and decent places to live as an example of what it would be like for us to live together. Because right now, you don't want to live with no savage. A savage is a person that's lost the knowledge of himself and living a beast life. You don't want no drive-by shootings every week in your neighborhood. That's what you think about black people living together. Oh, hell no. But look at what they're doing, sister and brother. South Park used to be the white middle class area. Negroes don't name their streets Bataan and Pershing. They don't name themselves after World War I and World War II heroes, Guadalcanal Street. Come on, Negroes don't do that. White folks built that in honor of the World Wars. We moved in, they moved out. McGregor? Henry McGregor didn't see no Negroes living out here except for to serve chicken and lemonade to white people. This was a trolley car suburb. This was a suburb. Montrose was a suburb. River Oaks is the first master plan community in Houston. Hear me, brother and sister. We were relegated to certain places that are the only places we could live. We moved in, they moved out. Now their children are doubling back, and you call it gentrification. What I call it is rebellion against the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. He told you to buy up land. If you bought land, if you'd have bought the house when it was dirt cheap, now that the prices is going up, you can say, okay, you want to buy? How much you want for?
That's right. That's right.
Instead, we're getting pushed out because we renting and don't own like we were told to do. If we follow what the man told us to do, if we learn to eat to live, we wouldn't be eating that fast food that's killing us fast.
Say that. Say that. Hot blood, kidney failure. Say it.
Timmy Chan's original Timmy's chicken and wangs. Are you serious?
Tastes good.
Okay, yeah, death does taste good. It does, man. If death tasted nasty, you wouldn't be messing with it.
Good teaching. Good teaching. Come on, brother, man.
You can't work at used tools no more. Without education, you could work at used tools, man. Work some overtime, and you could own one of them houses in South Park, Sunnyside, South Acres. Easy. Send your child to TSU or U of H. Have your little Ford 150 truck and a little car and barbecue out in front of it in a six-pack watching the Oilers back in the day. In a little house there in South Park. You can't do that today. They done moved the factories overseas. You get most of your building materials at Home Depot gonna come from China.
Come on. Wake us up. Sleep too long.
We've been convinced. Some of us go get your 4-year degree. I ain't against education. You know I'm not against education. But some of us need to go to university, Houston Community College. Like Sister Tamara and the 21st Century Challenge New Educational Paradigm took us over to the Automotive Technology Center over there on Airline off of 45. We got a grand tour of that spot. Now they hit me. They hit me from the construction one that's over there on the southeast side. Said, please come tour this. We need to rebuild our own community. They put a lot of pressure on our Latino brothers and sisters. They leaving up out of here. So who gonna build if they ain't here to build? You want one of them $20, $25 an hour jobs? Learn how to wield a hammer.
That's right.
Or saw.
Yeah. Come on.
I'm just telling you, man, we about to get paid
Come on, brother, man.
if we want to work. We can't all sit up in the offices shuffling papers and pushing buttons. We're gonna have to get some sweat. But if a woman, I'm going to go back where I started. Black man, if you come home funky. Huh? With Dickies on, with a little oil on you. Huh? You a little fun, a little sweat. But you bringing in that paycheck?
Come on. Come on.
Shit, when you walk through that door, there'll be some bean soup waiting for you. Huh? Your bath will be run. You ain't hearing me. I'm telling you the truth, man. It's the truth. Huh? Am I lying, sisters? Hell to the no, no, no. Huh? Shoot, man, after you take your bath, man, fix you a good meal, brother. Next thing you know, the candles will be burning. The lights will go off. All of a sudden, you'll be hearing us calling your name. Holly. What the hell is going on here? I'm trying to watch the game now, baby. Turn that game off. I got game for you, all right. Look like you caught hell at work. You need a little comfort. Come on here. Y'all ain't heard me. They laughing, but they know I'm telling the truth. Come on, black man. And if you ain't been getting that, it's because we ain't been taking care of our business. Take care of your business, manifest God, and watch God come up out of her because she was born to comfort God. Console God, because she's a God. She's the second self of God. So I end where I started. Sign up for the family conference, brothers. Pray for Brother Alexander and Brother Dark who have lost their mothers. Thank you all for your community work and your work inside of the mosque. Get ready, brothers and sisters, because going forward, things is not going to be, you can't look in the rearview mirror. We got to keep on straight ahead. To get our property together, inshallah, we'll be closing very soon. It's next week or so. They said they had everything they needed, so we need to do that. But I can't go forward without your commitment that we're going to take care of the business. So we'll have a meeting about it. So I thank you, brothers and sisters, for listening to this truth, this warning, and this guidance. Everything that came from God through the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and now they're reminding our Mr. Honorable Louis Farrakhan, is for your benefit. I want you to stand up. I want you to straighten up. I want you to clean up. I want you to get up and come on and help the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan do the work that he has been commissioned to do, and that is to finish the work of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. He said to me July 1st, 2016, as I leave you, he said, brother, there are many major things the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said that he didn't do when he was among us. And he said, I have tried my best to do those things for him. And he said, there's many major things the minister has said, brother. He said, you, brother, have the power to get over the teachings of Honorable Elijah Muhammad to do it. And he said, you don't have to ask permission of anybody to do that, brother. Just go and be found implementing the program of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. So let's go on, brothers and sisters, and let's show in this next 3 years what Islam has done for us. And let's start some Muslim-owned businesses for us, by us. And yes, we'll unite with others, but we need some wealth within our own families. We need to build our own community. We need to have some land we can call our own. Why we got all these separate mortgages and separate houses? Let's combine all of our wealth, put it together, get us a big compound, man, and buy it. Y'all ain't. And let's live together. And pay one little mortgage compared to all the, we all getting robbed. We're getting macked, pimped, played, suckered. Because usury is against the Holy Quran. And there's a reason why. So let's close. Accept your own and be yourself, brothers and sisters. Come on and sit yourself in heaven at once and unite with us here at Mosque 45. I pray Allah blesses you, brothers and sisters. I was feeling bad, but I'm feeling good now because the Spirit of Allah will continue on. So you keep on keeping on. I love you, and I pray Allah will bless each and every one of you as I greet you in peace. Assalamu alaikum.